chief of sinners, I've been declared the winner. 'Cause I was blind, but now I see. Was lost, but not forgotten. Redeemed by the only begotten. The Son of God, He lives in me. Oh yeah. Among the sinner, I am chief.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. This is Anthony Sadi with Men of Impact Podcast Radio. I'm not even sure what we're calling it right now. I just know it's on all different platforms. So we do have audio and video. You can go to podcast.co. I will be posting that link in lots of places so that you can catch us and find us on YouTube and all the different podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple. I don't know. There's a lot of them. So they're all going to be on that website. I'll get that out for you. That link website, I guess. I'll get that out for you, which and all that will be also available on the Men of Impact website. Yes, we have a website now. It's www.menofimpact with a K right here. You see it right here, .com. I just wanted to introduce Men of Impact. Honestly, guys, it started as a Bible study. We're trying to move forward and expand from there, but it's a Bible study that we do every Saturday morning at 6:30 in the morning off Indian Truck Trail at the Starbucks. We are there every Saturday. We from 6:30 to 8, rain or shine, doesn't matter how cold it is. We're out there in the cold, man. We do come here though if it rains. We do have it here at Hope Radio or Hope Studios if it does rain. So you can find out more information from Men of Impact at gmail.com. Again, it's Men of Impact with a K at gmail.com. Just update. We have a new chapter in LA. Friend from one of the guys that started on Saturday mornings now started his own Bible study out in LA in a hotel room. And that's the goal. Lots of chapters everywhere, different churches. We're not confined to a church. We do represent quite a few different churches. So today I'm going to get kind of right into it. I don't need to do a whole bunch of introduction. We will stop towards the end and introduce some more things. But today I had the young man, Cody Smith, on last week. It was just too much to fit into 1 hour, honestly. Way too much to fit into 1 hour. I wanted to bring him back this week. Don't know if we're going to be here. We're not going to be here next week because it's Christmas, and I don't know about New Year's. Got to talk. I got to figure all that out. But we will have other guests going forward, and we are moving forward, doing this every week. So, but we're gonna start again with Cody. I got some things, some questions I want to ask him. We got a big surprise at the end.
Big surprise.
So, everybody, stay tuned till the end. Don't go anywhere. So, Cody, how you doing? Did you have a good week?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Anthony?
Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. This is my favorite day, man. My favorite thing.
I was looking forward to today.
So you had a week to kind of absorb all of it, right? And people that again, remember he's got 400,000 followers. So what was what type of I can't even think of the word right now. What type of response did you get?
Oh, on the last podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last podcast actually did really well. I got a lot of close friends and family members texting me, DMing me, letting me know that they really liked it because I would say about 50% of people knew my full story and some people didn't. They know parts of it, but they didn't know the whole thing. So the first podcast was really cool for them because they got to hear in depth of my, kind of my life that they might have not known before then. So it was super cool.
Super cool. And it was a super cool, I had a really good time, Sam. So just thanks for being there last week. One of the things that I forgot to mention last week, and we talked about it, one of the scriptures that I want to bring into this is for you, especially for you young guys out there. And again, young people, but I'm mostly talking to the guys out there. It's 1 Timothy 4:12, which is, don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. Until I get there, focus on the reading of the scriptures to the church, encouraging the believers and teaching them. Now, that first part, Cody, the young guys love to tell you, don't let anyone think less of you because you're young.
True. That's massive, actually.
And young guys have an attitude about that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good and bad thing for sure, because you don't want to be like too cocky and have an ego. But I've definitely learned in my businesses, I've not necessarily respect I don't get, but like the adults when I'm in, my business meetings, they kind of like, they're like, does this kid know what he's talking about? He's only 19, 20 at the time, or 19 at the time, but 20 now. It's good and bad. I mean, I like it because it puts a challenge. I get to prove to somebody that I'm worthy of, what I know. So, but yeah.
So then on that, because a lot of young guys, I know, again, when I was young, I was hard-headed. But most young guys are to an extent. So when you think about that, a lot of young guys will get offended. Is it a struggle for you to not get offended?
I would say at first I got offended / mad. Like I was like, and obviously you have to have respect for your elders, but I'm like, these guys think I'm a joke. And realistically, I was like, I know more than them. At least I think I know more than them in certain areas of whatever we were talking about in business. But yeah, I can see because now I'm comfortable where when someone says like, oh, are you sure? Like it almost motivates me. Like I know, personally, I don't get mad anymore, but I know kids my age, if they do get new into business or anything in general, where someone tells them you're not good, putting them down, they're going to get mad and kind of get offensive where they fight back. But yeah.
So again, and another thing, young guys, so you would say that there is, regardless of whether you know more than about a certain subject, that older guy, experience still is something you should listen to.
100% agree. I mean, there's experience is something that I don't have because I'm so young. I do have more experience, I would say, than kids my age, just due to the fact of how many things I've done. But in terms of adults, even though they might sound wrong or might be wrong, I have to respect that they've been through it more than me because they've been on this earth longer. So no, yeah, I totally have to respect that part, and I totally get that.
And you have to take some of it as you have to.
Yeah.
Right?
And I see it. Yeah. I mean, people, they're just talking, adults are talking from past experiences, and I don't have that. So I have to respect, I have to at least listen. I'm like, all right, well, it's happened to them, so let me listen to it.
And one of the reasons I like having young guys on here is because sometimes it's the opposite. Us old guys think, this kid, he doesn't know nothing.
Yeah.
But that isn't 100% true either. We can and should pay attention to when the young guys are talking, so that we can learn something.
Yeah. I mean, there's learning for both sides for sure.
Should be.
Yeah.
And there should be no anger or in it. Now, there's a few things that I really I have to get to. And as you know from last week, an hour can fly by when you're in front of the microphones.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why we're here. So there's a couple things that I do want to really get out there for some of the young guys, some of the older guys that are even thinking about taking a risk, because, I didn't start my first business until I was 40.
Wow.
And failed. But so you have to go out on your own sometimes. So one of the things I want to cover here is, what are the first steps? What would you tell somebody in business, young or old, doesn't matter? What's the very first thing they should do after the idea?
Man, that's a tough one.
How about this? How do you verify the idea?
That's even tougher, because I know exactly what you're talking about, because I have ideas all the time and I try to verify them in terms of how much money can I make? Is this really a good idea? Is there a need in it, in the industry? The one important thing I would say to kids my age about if they want to start a business is if it's really a passion, if you enjoy that sector where a shirt brand or whatever, making stuff, and you enjoy it, that should be your validation to keep going. I've started businesses that I didn't enjoy, and I could tell that they weren't going to go, they didn't go anywhere because I didn't enjoy it. I had no passion for it. But companies I have passion for, you'll make it happen. I promise you. But I mean, to answer that question, it's so tough because you just can't listen to haters. You have to take people's opinions and kind of just listen to them and see if they can help you. But you just got to keep going and building the business that you want to build. That's a tough question. I don't know how to answer it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a lot of research in the beginning that goes?
Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
of course. I mean, for like Germanex, I had to do 1 month plus of research just to even be on a level where I understood the business. So obviously it's hard work in the risk factor. It's one, you're going to be scared to fail. Everyone's just scared. They don't want to make a business and then fail, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, that didn't work out, and laugh at you. That's the biggest thing for sure. Is people don't even want to build a business because they're scared. That's where the risk factor comes in my opinion, is you're scared to make a business and it's risky. You can throw money at it and lose it. You can lose your ego if you have one, you know what I mean? If you fail but my opinion is you will, just like I said, the first podcast, you will not know if it's going to be a successful business until you try. There could be opportunities where you're like, I quit. And what happens if that was your $1 million idea? You don't know until you try. And that's my motto, is every company I have now, I take it as far as I possibly can until I know it's dead, because you never know. That's the key word. You never know if that's going to be your successful business or your successful story.
And again, one of the things I'd like to encourage some of you out there is that, like Cody was saying, it's a risk. And when my business failed, I was really down on myself. And a pastor told me, he goes, hey, millions of people out there never even tried.
Exactly. And I have mad respect for people that try, because it's going back to the fail. People don't even want to start because they're scared of failing. And that's the first problem. And then they finally get it and like, all right, cool, I've started. And then one problem comes up and they're like, I quit. And that's what's crazy now is when you see a successful company or someone that's successful in a certain area, you just see what their business is now. You don't see all the hard work and lost nights of sleep and just them being anxious and scared. You know what I mean? And that's what people don't even see with me, is just like, oh, you got all these followers. They don't even know what I've done to get there and all the troubles and everything. You know what I mean? They just
the hours.
Exactly. But that's the cool part, in my opinion, is looking back and I look back and I'm like, what happened for Germanex, for example? What happens if I would have quit in my room? You know what I mean? Like we would be having a total different conversation in terms of that. So it's awesome to look back and say, I'm so happy I made that choice to keep going.
Or what happens, like you said, the first month or so was.
Yeah, I could have quit the first month. I would said, well, this is stupid. It didn't even do anything. But that's business. You're going to fail. Nothing's going to happen. I saw something on Instagram today. A successful business that grows fast builds your ego. But if you have a successful business over time, it builds your wisdom. So if you have a business that grows fast, you're going to, I got a big ego, I'm successful. But you have a business that takes multiple years to build, you're going to have wisdom because you know all the hard work it took. So
you'll know the mistakes not to make if you start a new one.
You have to fail to learn, to make yourself better, make your company better.
And you said you've had some failed ideas and some failed businesses.
Oh yeah, I've had plenty. And that's also an interesting part, is people don't see that. Of course, I'm not posting on Instagram, hey, look at my failed business, or hey, look, one of my businesses failed. Of course, I'm not doing that because I'm embarrassed. But yeah, people don't see that. I've had multiple businesses that have failed, multiple businesses that I put a lot of money in that failed. But the best part is I've learned through every business. At least I've learned something from that business. For example, if I'm hiring a lawyer, now I know how to work with a lawyer for the future. And just other failures, working with partners. I had a company that I had partners with, and it didn't go too well. So I learned to, pick my partners wisely in terms of my businesses. So every opportunity you fail is an opportunity to learn. So honestly, when I fail, it sucks, but I like it because I learned something from it. So in the future, I don't make it again, which is awesome. So
you learned that partners are still good with you, but you're going to pick them differently.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah. It's almost like not rushing into things. Like with this partnership, great idea, just rushed in and didn't even really look at, all right, these partners in business, even are they the right partners for this business? Because they could be a right partner for another business, but this specific business I had, it didn't work out well. There's too much lying and over promising that I thought, which I learned from that too, is not to take everything. I don't even know the word. When someone tells you something, I kind of just I honestly think, well, they're not going to come through with it, which helps me because if they do come through, I'm like, wow.
You got to take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. And that's what I've learned is people will promise stuff and you just have to realize that it might not happen. So
slow down.
Yeah.
Right?
That's another thing I've learned in business is that.
So, we're not going to get into the particulars and what kind of business is. It is what it is. We just want to encourage. And again, I'm here for the young guys, dude. I'm here for the old guys. I'm here for the young guys. And young guys we got to raise I read a scripture and I posted it, but we got to raise our young guys up, guys out there. And we need young guys like you to help set the pace, so to speak.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that, we're going to talk about, now you mentioned to me that you also have some investments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and that can be, again, risky.
Oh yeah.
And now with your other businesses, you have money to invest.
Yes.
But you still don't take every dime you have and throw it in, do you?
No, of course not. And one thing I learned from my dad, so shout out to my dad, you always have to have money liquid. And obviously liquidity is obviously having money on the side. And that's for multiple reasons. One's to keep yourself safe. So if anything happens personally, you can afford it. But also if another business opportunity comes up, say you throw all your money in one opportunity and another great opportunity comes up, but you have no more money, then that opportunity is going to fly away. But in terms of, I don't throw all my money into one investment because I learned that from my dad. But to kind of go on like the whole like failure thing in business is the way I look at it is entrepreneurship is about failure. Entrepreneurship equals failure. It's pretty simple. Everyone thinks it's easy because you make a lot of money or on the outside you make a lot of money, but it's really not. Obviously the failures.
There's a lot of guys out there that never make a lot of money, right?
Yeah. And the one thing with entrepreneurship that people have to understand is it's different than a normal business. Or not a normal business, a normal job, a 9-to-5 job, let's say. 9-to-5 job, you're promised a salary, you're promised an hourly wage. You go to work, you get paid. Entrepreneurship, you can go a couple months without making money. It's all yourself that you're deciding what is going to happen with the company. But to go with that is the reason why it's so difficult is because people they want to be comfortable. Entrepreneurship is not comfortable. Like I said in the first podcast, you're going to be very uncomfortable. Like I said, you're going to have months where you don't make money. So you're going to be very uncomfortable, anxiety, or a normal job, you're getting paid, you're promised, where this is different. But I don't even know where I was supposed to be going with that, but it's risk. It's not easy as people think it is, but it's rewarding. Obviously it's very rewarding. But it's a risk.
So now on that, like you were saying, you may go months without making money.
Yeah.
So you may go.
Nothing's promised like a normal 9-to-5 job. It's literally 99% risk at that point. You know what I mean? Big
risk, big reward.
Exactly.
Right. So, and that's the chance that you've got to take if it's something you believe in.
Yes.
On that note, okay, you are making different decisions than a lot of guys your age. Okay. And so you've gone a couple months, but you figured out at a young age how to have a couple months backup, like you said, liquidity.
Yeah.
So what are some of your, what is some advice you could give some of these young guys? We were talking a little bit earlier about how to make that happen, decisions that you might have to make at your age that other guys your age aren't making, some ways to where you're going to put your money.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of like investment stuff when we were talking about this
and
just businesses and everything in general.
Let's say, and coffee, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So speak a little bit on that about how that, and then I'll talk a little bit about the rule of money. I don't know.
Like we were talking before is in entrepreneurship, you're going to have to change sometimes the way you live. So for example, like the coffee thing in stocks, investments, if you spend $200 a month on coffee, let's just say, which is pretty crazy, but let's just say $200 coffee, energy drinks, whatever it is. And you take that $200 and you throw it into a certain stock. Over time, let's just say over time, the stock gets a 12% ROI. Over time, you're going to be making money with that. Every 200, and let's just say no coffee, no energy drinks for 12 months, a year. Okay. All that money's going to stocks that's making you money. That $200 you're putting into coffee and energy drinks is not making you money. So kids my age, I see a lot of kids my age, and this is a great question because the EDD factor. A lot of my kids my age are getting EDD if they worked at, the EDD check because they work somewhere and they got fired or company went down. They're taking that money and they're going to eat at nice restaurants and all this stuff. And they ask me, Cody, well, how do I invest? How this? And this is a simple question I tell them. Stop taking your $200 and throwing it at a nice dinner when you should be if you want to be an entrepreneur, if they always ask me, how do you do it? How do you invest? Well, don't throw your $200 in at dinner, throw it into stocks and invest. So kids my age, it's hard though. Everyone wants to spend money on cool stuff, phones, cars, whatever. But realistically, a portion of that money needs to go into stocks. It doesn't need to, but should for future. Obviously, like we were talking before, I want to retire at a good enough age where I can see my kids. I don't want to work until I'm 70. That starts now. Like we were saying before, the motto of this world: go to college for 4 years, have the best time of your life. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about a job. Don't worry about anything else besides having fun in college, getting your education, whatever. But I think, in my opinion, that's backwards. Right now, these 4 years, everyone's having fun in college. I'm working hard. So when they're 40 years old, working in, with their 9-to-5 job, I'm retired. So I think, in my opinion, the world's just so
backward.
It's backwards.
And again, we're talking about having fun. This is drinking,
spending money,
having sexual relations, partying, going out to nice dinners, right? Mm-hmm. And you're just making different choices.
I'm looking for the future. I don't like when, for example, 4 years of college, have fun. I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm having fun, but I'm working really hard during these 4 years while their kids are slacking. So I'm here and they're there. And it's going to show later on. And if that makes sense. Of course, I get looked down upon. Oh, you don't go to college. You're not having fun.
Get a life.
Yeah. You're sitting in a room. Boo-hoo. That's where the hater stuff comes in. But
yeah, I'm sure you get lots of haters too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to get haters. If you're successful, you're going to get haters. But I mean, even scratch that. If you're a human being on this earth, you're going to get haters. No matter what you do, someone's not going to agree with you. It's just human nature. No one's, they're not going to agree with you. They're not going to like you. But it's motivation. And I want to say this lightly, is if someone's really hating on you and they're bugging you and they're making fun of you, it's to me, I look at it as they're almost trying to drag me down the ladder. So
they are.
They see me as a little, I'm above them in terms of whatever I have, they don't. Because realistically, if you feel successful inside, whatever that may be, like doesn't even have to be business, you're not going to go to someone that you think is lower you and make fun of them, because it wouldn't make sense. It's always the people that are below you. They're like, I don't like him because this, and they want to drag you down.
They want to drag.
There's no such thing as bringing people up the ladder negative. You know what I mean? You're not going to be negative to someone and bring them up the ladder.
Right.
You're always going to bring them down the ladder.
And that's
the haters part. You see it all the time.
You see it all the time. It's just always going to be the way because, they want to be that.
It's just human nature. It's jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think anyone's hating on you because of what they're jealous. They're mad.
And not at you necessarily, just at them.
And they're
really hating themselves.
It could be simple as, I want to own a business, but I'm scared. But Cody's owning a business and he doesn't look scared. I'm just going to make fun of him because, gosh forbid, you know what I'm saying? And I saw that in high school. I saw kids literally come up to me, and most kids in high school thought it was awesome. But there'd be some kids, that's stupid. You make money off YouTube. You don't even work. You don't work hard. And I'm just like looking at them. And the question I ask is, would you rather work at McDonald's, let's just say 9 to 5 and make $60, or would you rather sit at home on your computer and make thousands of dollars? And of course, like, well, I'd rather do that. But I don't agree. You don't work hard enough for that anyways. So people are going to hate because they're jealous, they're mad. And all I really do is I kind of goes in one ear, one out the other, but I still am respectful. I don't, like I said, people that are making fun of me, obviously something's not right with them. They're mad about something. So I just,
you don't know what their life is like.
Exactly. You don't know.
And you don't know. And you have to being a good Jesus loving brother.
Yeah.
Being a good, you have to understand that you don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what that kid's home life is like.
Exactly.
It could be awful.
Mm-hmm.
And to get a situation, to get a mindset like that was somehow or another, in one way or another, beaten into you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for good parents.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mom and dad. But yeah, if you're human on this earth, you're gonna have hate straight up. It really depends on how you cope with it, and make your day positive as much as possible.
It really depends on how you cope with it, and that's one of the things I guess we wanted to talk. One of the things I wanted to make sure that we touched on here was that you have to learn how to deal with your feelings. You have to learn how to deal with your emotions.
Agreed.
In a positive way, and in an efficient way.
Yeah.
And in the world today, it's tough because
everything's negative, honestly, in this world.
Not only that, this is how they deal with
it's the social media.
Social media. So this is why we have one-on-one actual talks with men. This is part of what Men of Impact is about. Part of what it's about is to show that men actually can share their feelings, have some talks, some real talks, and learn how to deal with things like that, haters and just adversity. Because you can't do that looking at a screen, man.
And not, and basically like we're talking and I'm just mentioning some things that I'm sure people listening are like, oh yeah, like I've kind of felt like that too. I wonder how he copes with it. And obviously I'm not perfect. I cope with it. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to cope with it differently. But the main point is really just don't let somebody drag you down because they're having a bad day. They're making you have a bad, they're trying to bring you down to their level of having a bad day. Don't let them.
Don't let someone steal your joy, brother.
Try to bring them up positive. It's tough to, someone's making fun of you. Try to like, hey man, like bring them up.
But don't let somebody steal your joy.
Yeah. And don't try to steal someone's joy either. And I'm not perfect either. Of course I mess around with my brothers and probably, mess around with them too much, but nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's perfect.
But yeah.
And listen, guys, in case anybody listening doesn't know, let me see. Joy actually has a name. It's spelled Jesus, brother.
Yeah.
That's how joy is spelled. If you don't have a little Jesus, you're missing out on a lot of joy. And that's one of the things that Cody always has had in his life. Couple of things. There's a couple of other things that I want to really get back to about business and entrepreneurship and some of the differences between, like you said, a 9-to-5 job. You get that 9-to-5 job, you're promised a salary. There's other things that you're promised that you're not going to be promised.
Yeah.
You're not promised the 401k. You got to start your own.
Yeah.
You're not promised medical insurance. I know you're too young to think about that, but you're still not promised that. One day you're going to have to think about that. You have to, they don't take the taxes out of your check. You got to file your own taxes.
You got to file them or you got to hire somebody to file them. Yeah. Which that's another.
And is that something that at this point, are you to the point where you hired somebody to file?
Yeah. So my dad honestly has been a big help. He had his own businesses before. So he's helped me a lot. When I was, 14, 15, making money on YouTube, I didn't even know taxes were a thing, to be honest with you. I didn't know any, I thought it was just like, oh, they pay you money and finding out they take, 20, 30% of it, whatever it is. Yeah, we have a CPA that does all our stuff. Super cool guy. And that's stuff people don't know about. It's one, people don't even know what a CPA is. Right. Kids my age.
What is a CPA?
Certified public accountant, I believe it's called.
That's what it is.
They basically just do your taxes for you. They get a college degree to do. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, everyone looks at entrepreneurship as it's just this awesome thing, which, like, again, they just see all these people with crazy cars, crazy houses that make a lot of money. They see the pause and they just see the outcome. They don't see the hard work and everything in between of how it goes down. So yeah, you got to pay. So 9-to-5 job, they take your taxes out. This at the end of the year, you can make millions of dollars and it's all, you have it in your bank. But at the end of the year, the IRS is going to say, hey, you owe us $500,000. So you can't spend it all. And that's,
again, there's
accountability. But yeah, there's taxes. There's all this other stuff that you need to do on your own in terms of your business. You're self-employed. You're doing it yourself. You're not relying on McDonald's to do it for you. Come back to the risk part. It's all on you.
It's all on you.
You dictate your future. So it's a good and bad thing.
They're not going to pay for your medical insurance.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I'm too young. Thank the Lord. My parents are awesome. They still pay for it. But
well, the goal is for you, a guy your age, and let's let some of these young guys know, the goal would be to be self-insured. In other words, by the time you have to get your own medical insurance, you've got enough money in the bank. If something goes wrong, you just,
and that comes back to is my goal, when I want to retire at an early age, but I also want to be to the point where, I don't, when I have kids and I have a family, I don't want to worry about that stuff. I'm working hard now, so I don't got to worry about it later. So I'm realistic. I'm doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for my future self, my future kids, my future wife, whatever that may look like. And that's what gives me like motivation every day is I'm doing it for my future self, future kids, future wife. I'm not partying right now for my future kids and wife. I'm working hard for them so they can enjoy their life and hopefully rub off on them when I'm older.
And well, at least, some people out there might be happy to know your, wife and kids are a plan out there for you.
That is definitely the plan. We'll see when.
Right.
Obviously back in the day, it was like everyone had a family at 19, but now it's different. It's definitely a plan. I definitely have that's my goal is to have a Christian family and all that stuff.
And
3 boys.
3 boys. That's the deal. Just like yours.
Just like my family, 3 boys. Generation to generation, 3 boys.
I'm just going to tell you, you don't get to write that stuff in.
Oh, I know. I'm sure I'm going to have a girl. I guarantee you I'm going to, because I've always said that. But nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
They are tough, but there is nothing wrong with it. I had 1 boy and no wife, and then I ended up marrying a girl with two girls. So I thought I got away scot-free, but not so much. My daughter gets married tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Shout out to my daughter.
Wow. That's awesome.
And her fiance, they get married tomorrow. And she waited a long time. So she's 29. So,
which nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
I would rather wait and make sure it's the right one than.
That's right. So one of the things, I guess, go back to money real quick, saving money for kids your age. And one of the things that I learned, and I wish I'd have learned it when I was a kid your age, is again, if you, this is a thing, it's called the rule of money that I learned from some financial advisor, that if you are 18 years old and all you put away is $100 a month. Now, no matter what job you have, Cody, at 18 years old, most kids are living at home, right?
Yeah.
You can find $100 a month, right?
I'm sure you can find it. You can get it. Yeah.
If you have a job. Realistically.
And it should give you motivation if you don't.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Realistically, there's $100 a month.
Yeah.
That you would have.
Yeah.
If you have a job and you're 18. If you put $100 a month in the bank, collecting, I think it was just 6.5%.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is pretty solid.
Not the bank, because you can't get 6.5% for the bank, but a 401, something, a safer, a fund of some sort. That's your safe investment, not your only investment, because you invest in other stocks and stuff too. But if there's a retirement investment, Roth IRA, whatever,
IRA, 401k,
right? 401k. If you do that starting at 18, by the time you're 30, if you stop putting money in, you don't even put any more money in there.
Yeah.
You put $100 a month until you're 30. By the time you hit 62 years of age, you've got over $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million.
And it's crazy because it seems easy to do that. Because I remember was there a language arts teacher or my history teacher, someone brought it up, and kids are like, well, the kids don't want to put $100 a month in because they'd rather spend it. And that's the problem. It goes back to they're not worried about their future. They're just worried about these years of having fun, which you still got to worry about the now. I agree, because you're not going to get to the future if you don't worry about now. But it's not easy for kids to understand if they just want to worry about now and what's going on now. They don't care when they're 30, but that's the problem, is our world is telling them to not worry about the future and worry about now to an extent in terms of having fun.
Well, the world is based on get a life means spend all your money.
Yeah.
That's what the world tells us.
Yeah. And kind of funny to go. And I actually worked in the mortgage business right after I dropped out of school for a couple months, which I learned a lot from that. And that was awesome because I was there 4 months and learned so much. In terms, I didn't fail. I left, but I learned a lot. So I noticed in that was people would be trying to apply for houses. They would make, let's say, $5,000 a month, and they're spending $5,000 a month. I think the national average is like a couple. I don't even know what it is, but a normal American family, doesn't save any money a month, or if they do, it's very little. Mm-hmm. So if an emergency comes up, and back to the saving and not spending. But I get it. It's hard in this world. Everything's so expensive. Here's
what I tell the kids, or young. Here's what I want to tell the young guys. because all I did was blow my money when I was young. Right?
And that's what normal kids do.
That's what normal kids do.
Is why not?
And mine was on alcohol, drugs, and women. That's what it was on, right? Cars, alcohol, drugs, and women. That's what I spent my money on. And the reality is, like you say, if you don't spend the $200 a month on coffee, right? Here's what I say to guys. Listen, you can go to that bar, and that bar is going to be there on the corner every weekend. You can go look at the inside of that bar. Every weekend, spend $200. Spend, you can spend $500, $600, $800 a month on a bar.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've done it.
Yeah,
easy, right? I've done it in a night, but so Sean knows what I'm talking about, and so I've done it. So my thing is, again, put it away. Put your $100 a month away. Then make yourself a little fund. And like you do, one of the things I notice you do is when you do something, when you spend your money, you go see something. Like this weekend, you were in Big Bear.
Oh, yeah. It's all experiences and
experiences.
Yeah.
Right. You go see something. So that's what I want to tell you. Go see something, man.
Yeah.
Go see the Grand Canyon.
I agree.
Go see Mount Rushmore. Go see the Colorado River.
It's something that's going to possibly make you better. And even going to Big Bear, might not make you better in terms, but it could relax you. Like this week in Big Bear relaxed me. So this week I was more energetic and had more effort to work because I was relaxed that week. So realistically, the money I spent in Big Bear paid off this week because I worked harder this week. So,
but you also, for all intents and purposes, had a fund for Big Bear. You weren't out every night, fancy dinners,
No.
Right. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
With my money.
Yeah. And one thing I've heard from a lot of entrepreneurs, which I've learned, is spend money. Don't spend money realistically on, like your monthly salary or whatever. Let's say like your income, it's spending on your assets, which your investment stocks is an asset. So if you put $1,000 in and you're making $1,000 a month off stocks, you can leave that original 1,000 in there. And let's say you wanted to spend that extra 1,000 you made, you're using your assets on stuff and you're still making your monthly income. Right. So realistically, you're doing just fine. But yeah, that's what I've always heard is if you're going to buy stuff, like if you want to, like my dream goal is to get a Lamborghini, Ferrari. I'm going to get to the point where all my assets, stocks, I'm going to be making a certain amount of money for my stocks where I can just afford that car. I don't even got to touch my savings. I don't got to touch my monthly income. I'm just using it off one chunk of my investments.
Of your investments, right. Mm-hmm. And that's and okay. Now on that, let's encourage the guys. That doesn't happen overnight.
No, not even close. I've wanted a Lambo since I was 18. I still don't got one. My goal is in a couple more years. But I got to work hard. I think that's what's going to help though too is, like I said at the beginning, if something happens super fast where you get famous super fast, you got a big ego because it was easy. Over time, I got to wait 5 years to get a Lamborghini. I'm going to enjoy it more because during that time, I noticed how hard it was during that time. You grow wisdom, not your ego.
And when you grow your ego, you get proud. And
yep.
Pride is before the fall.
And I'm not going to say I've never had ego either. I'm not perfect, and I've definitely had an ego in certain times of my life. And I try to bring people into my life that bring my ego down nicely. Like one of my buddies, shout out Trevor Hinkle. He one of my best friends, but he doesn't awesome YouTube. He kind of brings me down. It's like, hey, like, bring your head down. Like, that's cool, but like, stop being cocky about it. So I love him for that because he brings me down to earth.
You got to have those. Because
I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Of course, everyone's going to have an ego, whatever that might be. You could win tic-tac-toe. You're going to have an ego because I'm the best tic-tac-toe player. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like you said in the Bible, like having an ego. What was it?
Pride before the fall.
Pride, yeah.
Pride comes before the fall.
Because then it changes how you act with people. You think you're cooler than somebody, and like it says in the Bible, don't think yourself less or more of somebody.
Philippians 2:3 says, think of everybody else. There's no qualifier here. Everybody else as though they're better than yourself.
Better than yourself, yeah. Never less, yeah.
Yeah, always that they're better than yourself. That doesn't make them better than you because we're all children of God.
Agreed.
But
brothers and sisters.
But you've got to remember that we're not better than anybody else either.
No, I agree with you.
We're not. And it doesn't say, it doesn't say think of all others unless they're homeless, unless they're hookers, unless they're drunks, it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
All others.
Everyone.
As though they're better than yourself. That will help you be humble and understand what they might be going through.
I agree.
This world doesn't care what the other guy's going through.
Yeah. unfortunately. Only people that are, super genuine and think of others. But just like naturally, the world's like, worry about yourself.
Yeah. Worry about yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just that's kind of how the
Take
world
care of
teaches you.
number one.
Yep.
So we've already talked about your future business and everything. We've talked about, you do. A family is something that you plan for yourself.
Yep.
Is there any type of ministry you might carry into your future?
I've never thought of like a ministry. Obviously, I definitely want to.
Well, let me ask you this: you give, right? You help others, right?
Mhm.
That's ministry.
Okay.
So
That definition of ministry.
ministry is just thinking of others is better than yourself. This what we're doing right now is a ministry.
Just giving
We're
back.
ministering to people that might need to hear this stuff, right? I'm not saying, so what I'm saying is always keep in mind those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I always thought ministry was kind of like
You had to have your own ministry.
a Bible study or something like that, and not terms of giving back, whatever that may be.
Some, and like, again, you don't have to have your own organization, but what it tells us is the Bible gives us gifts. If you have money and that's your gift, then you have to give money.
Yeah.
If you have time, then you give your time. If you have,
I agree.
And going forward, you are ministering to people your age right now.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you like to help kids understand that there is another way of life.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Because there is.
Yeah. Well, because everyone's confined to the life of this earth.
Yeah.
If you're not grown up religiously, it's just whatever the world tells you. Even if you are, like, you're still going to almost confine to the world because it's so loud. Because everyone.
It's so loud. That's a good way to put it, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's very loud. You literally can't hear anything else besides the world unless you're very close to God and you're talking to him on the daily basis. If not, you're going to get stuck and get caught in the world's daily life of living.
And there's the key right there. It's got to be on a daily basis, because you can't go to church for 1 hour a week
Has to be consistent.
and spend the rest of that week in the devil's playground and think you're.
Which again goes back to the part, it's not easy. Nothing's easy.
That's right.
If you think about it, stuff that's easy, I don't even want to say that. If it's hard, it's for a reason. So in terms of faith, like, it's hard to stay consistent. Like I told you last week, full week I was consistent reading the Bible, and then I took 4 days off. Don't know why. It's tough, but it's worth it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough for a reason, because it's going to be worth it. So
it's the enemy telling you. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, the devil's loud, and
the devil's loud because he's a ruler.
We got to mute him. Got a silencer on him. We got to be quiet and listen. Mm-hmm.
I just want to another thing that I want to read for the younger guys and for the older guys. Always remember Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are the plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Tell me what's the first thing comes to your mind when you hear that?
I hear hope. All right, that was the last word I heard, but the most important kind of is just having hope in all things. Like I said, everything is hard, and you got to have hope for the future, and you got to have. I don't even know like the exact definition of hope. It's almost like
I know Sean knows the definition of hope.
Like, the exact, which yeah. I
don't know the exact definition either, but and it also here's what it's saying for me. For I know that I have the plans for you. So yep. I know the plans I have for you. So he's already got plans.
Yeah.
All we got to do is walk the walk.
Yeah. And something I saw today too was cool from like a Christian Instagram was we can have our life laid out. So me, I have my life laid out. Really, I do. Like, I think I have my life laid out of how I want it to happen. But God, I'm pretty sure has maybe a couple different things that I don't have on there. So kind of like that. He knows what your life is. Like it or not, whatever you think you want it to be, it might be different of what God wants. You know what I mean? Maybe in a couple of years, God's like, I don't want you to do YouTube anymore. I'm taking your YouTube down because that's not a part of your long-term life goal.
Okay. So do you have faith that his decision is going to be better anyway?
Oh, 100%. If he takes my YouTube down tomorrow, I know it's for a reason.
A bigger reason than what YouTube would have done for you.
Yeah. I have to, even though it's hard, I have to respect that. And I like living my life like that now, where it's, even with girls, relationships, friends, all that. If someone leaves, I believe everything happens for a reason. So if they leave, it obviously wasn't a part of the plan. And that's kind of the way I live life.
So God's plan's better than your plan, Cody?
100% agree. I 100 million % agree. Even though it's hard at first to see, like, why did you take that person away? Why did you take my company? Why are you making my life miserable for these 2 months when it was good? Whatever that, it has a purpose. And I saw that at the beginning. I quit school and I was miserable, and I'm seeing the purpose lay out right now.
And all of that brought you right here.
Exactly.
Talking to guys who might not understand, might not be believers.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome is I didn't quit school. Germanex not a thing, YouTube, whatever. We probably are not going to be here. Everything happens, in my opinion, everything happens for a certain reason of God's plan, not yours, God's plan.
That's right.
He's trying to get you back on his path.
And now here you are at 20, an entrepreneur, business, and now you're ministering to other guys because that's what you're doing, Cody.
Yeah. Even though it feels like weird to say, like,
that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Ministering to guys, you having these ideas, and the fact that you are bold in your belief in Jesus to the point of even having a clothing brand.
Hashtag right? Team Jesus.
Hashtag Team Jesus. To even a point of having that, to being bold in that goes a long ways for kids your age.
Yeah.
I want to say something. Well, for everyone who doesn't know, this is Sean. I'm back in the booth helping Anthony out. But, hope, the meaning of hope, it's really knowing that wish is going to come true. Knowing that uncertainty is going to happen, even though you can't see it.
Yeah.
But you are ministering to so many different people right now. I'll tell you, when I was on drugs and alcohol and blah, 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 my life was horrible. It was somebody's testimony that saved my life.
Yeah.
It was somebody else sharing their story and giving me that hope that I could do it too. Well, something, if he could do it, maybe I could do it.
I agree with you.
Knowing, I have a wish to get better, but nobody's ever gotten better. That's what I was sort of thinking. But I mean, you're here to say, something, I had a wish and it came true, and so can yours.
I agree.
So
thank you.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Power of God, anything's possible.
That's right.
That's what I think. You see sometimes people, how are they successful without God? But like truly, like if you have God on your side, like he will make it. If it's supposed to happen, he will make it happen. That's the way I see it.
A lot of guys here's something else that people don't get. I think that guys who are successful and they don't have Jesus in their life don't have a lot of joy.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't see that part. What we see is they're rich.
The success, yeah.
Yeah. And guys who are successful with Jesus in their life are successful and joyful.
Yep.
It's a whole different thing.
He brings them the joy with what they're doing.
Because again, joy is spelled J-E-S-U-S.
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 Joy.
That's right. And so that's why we can't let people now we're coming down here to the end. So there's a few things. Give a shout out to your businesses. Like website, what have you, okay?
Hashtag Team Jesus, which is teamjesusbrand.com. Germanex is germanexdisinfecting.com. And then Highlight Reel, my YouTube, doesn't have like a website, but you just go on the YouTube search bar and look up Highlight Reel Sports. Highlight, and then Reel is R-E-E-L, and then Sports. And then it's carbon fiber logo HR, 406,000.
Carbon fiber logo. I don't even know what that means.
It's like a cool metal looking.
Okay. It's a carbon fiber, your logo on the page.
Yeah.
So take a look at those guys. Subscribe to his YouTube. You sports guys out there. I mean, there 400,000 people, can't be wrong. Anybody who owns a business out there that needs some disinfecting to get reopened, give him a call. He'll set you up. Here's what I always say. I always tell everybody out there listening. I know a lot of guys that have helped me through and got me to this point and saved my life. And so my thing is, don't go do anything or spend any money on something that you need before you talk to me. Send me an email, menofimpact@gmail.com, impact with a K. Send me an email. I know somebody that can help you out. That at the very now, nobody's going to get free stuff. The world isn't about free stuff, but at least they're not going to gouge you and rip you off. They're going to do a good job. If I don't know somebody, one of them knows somebody. So don't do anything crazy with your money until you contact us, right? Contact Men of Impact, not me. Contact Men of Impact. Again, Men of Impact, you can find it. We have a website, Men of Impact, www.menofimpact.com. We don't even have to say www anymore, do we?
Nah, people know.
Menofimpact.com with a K, right? Then we have a YouTube channel on Men of Impact. Subscribe. We're going to be, all of these will be on there, all of these episodes. We're going to dig up the other 50 or so episodes I have somewhere.
You have more than 50.
Do I?
Yes.
So we're going to dig those up. We're going to put them on the website, and they're going to be podcast audio as well. I also have a Facebook page at Men of Impact, and a Instagram at Men of Impact. It's all spelled with a K, right? So now we got 5 minutes and 36 seconds here to go.
I want to know what the surprise is. I've been dying the whole thing. Just get to the surprise.
And that's what I'm getting to. I'm getting to the surprise now. So the surprise is, when I first started this was in no way, shape, or form supposed to be me behind a mic all by myself. It was not what I had in my head. It was not what I dreamed about. It was not my hope, right? Because I want to help the widest range of people that I can. So I brought Cody on here for a couple of weeks. We've talked about things. We've engaged in some of the stuff. And my whole thought process on this radio show podcast was always to help as many people as we can. So what's going to happen is Cody is now going to be a permanent fixture here as co-host of Men of Impact, so that we are talking to people from 20 to 60.
Yep. Different age groups.
Right? We're talking about Cody's had a much different life than me. I've already learned a lot from him, so he's had a much different life from me. So we can. There's a lot of different things that we can help people with and minister to people. And he is he's talked about the last couple of weeks. He's also very interested in meeting people that he can learn from. So that's one of the things we're going to do is we're going to talk to a lot of Men of Impact out there.
Get as many people as possible. Get their testimony out. Like Sean said, is you never know whose life can be changed from one testimony. So
from one testimony, and some of these guys out there, again, Men of Impact. One of the things I haven't brought up since we've been doing this the last couple of weeks, but I do want to say is that Men of Impact are the guys. They're real heroes. They're out there doing good things. Cody's dad is a man of impact. I even had him on my show. They're doing the right things. Okay. Men of Impact don't necessarily aren't the guys on the court, the field, the movies. Those aren't necessary. Don't get me wrong. There are Men of Impact there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just put this shout out right now. My ultimate hope, ultimate dream.
There we go. I know.
Is to have Tim and Tebow on the show. So
Tim Tebow.
That is my ultimate hope. And all I have to do, like Sean says, is know it's going to come true. That's
you also need to pray and write it down.
Pray and write it down.
I was going to say that earlier.
Okay.
Pray and write it down.
We got to get him on here.
Pray and write it down. All we got to do is keep working, right?
Yep.
Keep moving forward, right? But that would be, because to me, he's a huge Man of Impact, standing up for Jesus. There's a lot of people out there, and we're going to talk to all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
A lot of interesting guests coming up.
Now, next Friday is Christmas. We're not going to
Yeah, we can't do Christmas.
We just can't do Christmas. Sorry. Now, New Year's Day, I don't know. Me and Cody are going to talk about that and see what that happens. It sounds great because we can start the new year off right.
Yeah, that is true.
So, and we've already got one guest in mind.
Yep.
And honestly, if you have a guest in your mind, right? Again, email us, menofimpact@gmail.com. It's got to be the guy doing the right things by his family, by his community.
A man of faith.
A man of faith, right? They've got to be, it just is what it is. That's where we're at right now. And the world needs Jesus. I mean, guys, open the door, turn on the news. The world needs Jesus it's never needed Jesus before. That's why I feel like it's important. And so And men need to know that you can have conversations like this.
Yeah, I think it's good because now we're having a Christian-based podcast where people can listen and grab things and learn, and all from a Christian-based community.
All from a Christian-based community. And hey, one of the things that did happen, one of the things that happened, Cody, when the show started is there's a lot of ladies that actually listen to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And what they learn is what a man of impact looks like. So they can make better choices.
Yeah.
That there are guys like that out there. Like I always tell my daughters, hey, shout out to my daughter Jessica again, who's getting married.
That's awesome.
Who told me many times, there's no more good guys out there, Anthony. But you found one. It took you a while. You found one.
Takes time to find the right one.
And so there are plenty of good guys out there. Corey, you're one of them. Thanks for being here. Thanks for saying yes to being a co-host. And we'll see what this year brings. But I'm excited. You excited?
I am very excited.
Okay.
Yeah, 2021's coming up.
Oh, God, let's hope it's not
I know.
2020.
Well, let's make it as possible, much as positive as possible.
Yeah. We're going to be doing positive things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So tune in. Maybe, that's what you're going to need to hear. And, young and old alike, there's hope in there. Remember, hope is spelled Jesus. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend, guys. Cody, you want to say goodbye to anybody? Give a shout out.
Oh, I got to give a couple shout outs. I'll make it quick. I've always dreamed about like giving shout outs to people. Scarce family. Trevor Hinkle, I already did him. Seth Sundin. I feel like I missed. People know who they are. I mean,
but you're gonna have. Don't worry, you're gonna have every week to give shout outs.
A lot. Oh, Team Jesus, Brandon Alvarez. A lot of people have helped me where I am today, and I appreciate that. Obviously, my family: mom, dad, Matt, CJ.
Shout out to my wife, my kids. Shout out to all the guys on Saturday morning and Wednesday nights. Man, I'm gonna get Cody up there sooner or later. He's gonna be up there. All right, guys. So this is Anthony and
this is Cody,
and we're signing off.
Signing off. Thank you, everyone.
See you again in a couple weeks.
Woo!